Am I the asshole for telling my fiance her tattoo of my dead brother makes me uncomfortable? This is crazy. Trigger warnings: emotional abuse and manipulation, accident, trauma, grief, mentions of mental health, property damage, abuse, and abortion. That is a lot of trigger warnings. My older brother, 30 male, while I'm 29 male, passed away 3 years ago in a motorcycle accident. This effed me up severely. Still does. He was my best friend, and we had the whole inseparable since we knew each other type shit. Even if he was older, he was never the stereotypical older brother bully sort, and I loved him for that. Anyway, my fiance, who I will call Bella, is 28 female and met him only a few times, but always said she admired our bond as she has no real siblings of her own. Only step, but they aren't close. A few weeks ago, Bella surprised me with an effing tattoo she got in memory of my brother. It's this pretty effing big, realistic grayscale tattoo of his face with a little Snoopy icon beside it on her upper arm, with his nickname we use and his birth and death dates underneath. When I saw this, I was effing stunned. She said she did it as a tribute to him and to support me because she knows how much I still struggle with grief. I honestly didn't know what to say at first, but the more I sat with it, the more it bothered me. I told her, gently as much as I could, to be honest, that I appreciated the gesture, but found the tattoo really uncomfortable. Like it's unsettling to see his face on my fiance's body. Like it's too much, especially since they barely even knew each other. She got upset and said I was being weird about a nice gesture and making her regret doing something so beautiful. Her words, not mine. Now she's distant, and my mom thinks I should just be thankful that someone loved my brother enough to memorialize him. But first off, I didn't ask her to do this. And now I'm stuck with a fiance that won't even talk to me properly, and my brother's perfectly black and gray eyes staring at me when I'm laying beside her. And honestly, I don't even want to think of how horrifying having sex would be with that on her arm. Am I being unreasonable? Asshole-ish? Am I right to ask her to get it covered up or like zoinked off? Sorry. Zoinked off. I guess I'm adding some additional details because I don't know how to respond individually. My fiance and I both have tattoos, and many of them. I have smaller ones, she has bigger ones. To my knowledge, neither of us are mentally ill in any capacity, and we are on medication. I can't believe I have to write this. And ever since my reaction, she's been wearing longer sleeved shirts in the daytime. At work, she has to anyway, but that's for home too. It's only during bedtime that I really see it with her wearing tanks, and it physically hurts. That's like the most wild. Okay. I would understand if you were like thinking, oh, maybe I should get like a little, like the miniature little like angel wings with his initials or something. And I feel like that I'd be like, okay, I'm not really sure why you have to do that, especially if like the brother's not doing that and he's like the one that was closest to him. But that would be a little less like weird. And I would be like, okay, whatever. Like I can get past that. But a portrait of his face, big head on her arm, is crazy. That is crazy. I don't even know how I would be able to get past that because the mentally ill thing is crazy. Like, I'm sorry, she's definitely has to be like something has to be going on, right? For her to think that's normal, or maybe not mental illness, but maybe she just has absolutely no self-awareness or like, you know, social awareness of like what's normal, which okay, but like I'm sure he would already know that, right? Like, is she just unaware? Is she just completely unaware? Because that's what it's giving. Someone said, does she have other tattoos? Okay, she obviously does. Because he already said that. Someone said, if this is true, it's a bizarre thing for her to do. You don't have any rights to what she does with her body, but it's pretty reasonable to ask her to cover it. Opie said, I will probably ask for her to remove it completely, though I'm guessing it'll be a hard conversation, and she will expect me to pay for it, which I don't necessarily mind, but it sucks anyway. I was initially going to suggest a cover-up, but I read some comments saying it would be difficult. I'm not sure, but I'll figure it out once we speak about it again. I cannot imagine how long that's going to take. She's going to have to get her arm freaking crumpled off like 27 times before that goes away. That's like, I mean, I feel like it's already hard enough to remove small tattoos. It still takes like 78 years to remove them. So I can only imagine like a fucking portrait of someone's face.
If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you.
Okay, the next day, there's an update. After breakfast this morning at around 7:30, it's 10:34 as I write this, by the way. I sat down, already was sitting down after eating, but yes, whatever, with my fiance and spoke about the effing tattoo again. I basically echoed all the comments I've received, which, by the way, I'm so grateful for the most part, because some of them were crazy. Anyway, I told her again that the tattoo made me very uncomfortable and wasn't the leap she needed to take to comfort or support me on my journey with grief, as I still had a firm belief that she didn't do this in a malicious manner. She was quiet initially and then asked if she could explain herself, and I said I was willing to listen. To summarize, she said she simply got the tattoo because she thought it would symbolize the extent she would go to love me and support me. And said in that way, I had both people I loved so much in the same place. Her words, not mine. She did say she was sorry and that she wouldn't have done it if she knew that I wouldn't have liked it. I asked her why she hadn't spoken to me about it prior, and she said it wouldn't have been a surprise then, which is what she wanted it to be. She also said, and I'm remembering this fresh and internally cringing as I write this, lol, that the tattoo was meant to be a symbol of a new beginning because we're going to get married in a couple of months, and she wanted to turn over old leaves. I'm still stuck on what she meant, so I'd appreciate any word sleuths helping me in this. To wrap it up, I said I didn't want to end our relationship over this, and I really wanted to move on from it, but that she needed to either cover it up or laser it off, and she was, to say the least, not very happy about it. Said a cover up would be complicated and it would take too long. Said laser might be painful and looks scary from the videos. Also, she said she likes how the tattoo looks along with the other ones, and asked if it would be okay with her just covering it up either with clothes or foundation. I was as firm as I could be. Mind you, this is the woman I've loved for 5 years straight, so admittedly I'm soft. But I reiterated that I wanted it either gone by a cover up or laser. She was quiet then, and that's honestly where the conversation ended. She already left for work at 10, and I'm going to start my own work now as I work remotely from home after I finish this. Anyways, I hope this works out, and I would appreciate any advice. I did read a comment that shamed me for taking this to Reddit instead of speaking with her first, so I will prioritize our communication first, but we'll hopefully keep this updated. Thanks for all the help for now. That is so funny how, like, people on Reddit, sorry, this is the first thing I'm addressing after reading that, but it's so funny how people, like, why are you on Reddit? Have you ever been on Reddit? Do you know that mostly everyone posts for advice because they don't know what to do? So, yeah, of course he's going to post before he talks to her. What do you mean? He wants to know what he should do from an outside perspective. Like, it's so funny how, like, oh my God, it's so actually crazy how annoying people can be. Top comments. To be honest, her actions and her explanation make me think she's extremely codependent. It sounds like she was trying to make your grieving process about her in some way. Turning over a new leaf sounds like she wants you to put the grief in the past because it's not actually about her. I went through something similar with my ex, trying to insert himself in my loss and trying to control how I grieved, wanting me to need him in a certain way instead of just being there for me. I would suggest seeing a therapist, both for grief and to be sure of your relationship. Not saying leave her, but there are multiple red flags here, and I don't mean the ink. That's great advice. And I agree. I do think that she was saying that in a way of, like, saying, we're starting a new chapter, so, like, leave this in the past, and this is the way to solidify that, like, you can be over it now. You can be over the grief. You can move on and, like, let it go. That's, like, kind of what it was seeming like to me. Okay. Next day. Update. It's final. I've broken up with her. I don't even know why I'm writing this other than to get some closure on this situation and maybe some support. I've read so many comments this morning, and while it didn't go the way I or anyone anticipated, I've taken my decision, though I'm struggling to accept it myself. Last night when Bella came home from work, I made sure to make dinner and asked if we could talk after dinner in the back garden. She said that was okay, but that she needed time to shower and unwind before dinner, so she'd be a bit late, but that I could start eating. I agreed, and she went upstairs while I ate the dinner I'd made with the TV on in the back. She came down about an hour later while I was winding things up and washing the dishes from earlier, and I offered to get her a hot plate, and she agreed, saying that she would eat it on the couch in our living room rather than the kitchen where we have a dining table, also where I ate. I said that was fine, and I brought it over to her, and as I gave it to her while she was sitting, her hand out to take it, I somehow managed to drop it, and the hot spag bowl went all over her. I immediately apologized profusely and went to grab her some water and tissues, towels, but she started screaming at me. I do not want to make myself sound like a victim in this, so I want to be careful with how I write this. But yes, she started saying that I did it on purpose and that I was punishing her for our conversation that morning and for the tattoo in general. I immediately defended myself as I brought over a damp towel and some tissues and said I knew I had a steady grip on the plate, so there was no way I had done that on purpose. Also saying that I always spoke respectfully and calmly to her about the tattoo situation and that I would never escalate things like this. Things beyond are a blur, but we had a big fight and she broke many, and I mean many of our glasses and plates, and even tried to pull off a cabinet door in our kitchen that was already not in good condition and threw anything around her at me. By the end of it, I said I couldn't be with her anymore and that this was the last straw and left for my parents' house. I haven't returned and I haven't picked up any of her calls or messages, and I'm honestly afraid of what she'll do to my belongings if she so easily broke so much of the shit that we bought together. I'm still at my parents' house and I haven't told them either, but I think this is it. This may be the last update because I don't know if I can focus on this when I have everything else I need to resolve. Thanks for all of your comments. I really appreciated them and I never expected this outcome. Peace and love to all that helped. Yeah, so she kind of showed like her true colors of being like, that's really scary. Throwing stuff at someone. I mean, I feel like that's very abusive. Even if it didn't hit him, like that's still very abusive and scary. Cuz imagine if it did. Like imagine if she threw a plate at his face and it hit him. That's really concerning. See, that's why I'm like I feel like she needs to literally go get evaluated or something. Like I feel like something has to be happening here other than just like she thought that it was like she was just innocent in all of this. I mean, I feel like maybe I don't know, something. Okay, this is 4 days later. Hi, posting this here for closure. Ex-fiance has gotten a removal scheduled for next week and has called, texted, and gotten her friends to message me and to apologize. I responded and asked to speak, and we met yesterday at my parents' house to speak with my parents mediating, just for safety and efficiency. She apologized numerous times and asked to give her a chance, saying that she's never been like this before and it's all a result of a stupid thing she's now embarrassed and ashamed of, referring to the tattoo. I reiterated that it wasn't even really the tattoo that had caused me to leave at the end of the day, but rather her explanation for it and how violent she got with me so easily. My parents were on my side for this, but asked me to be gentle prior, and so I was. I told her I couldn't see us being together any longer, so that's that. Through our conversation, lasted probably the entire late afternoon and evening, I did learn other things. While we were dating much younger, on and off, she had kept 2 pregnancies from me and had gotten an abortion. I don't blame her for this action, as I understand the many multifaceted reasons that she must have had, and she does have that right over her body. This isn't much this isn't of much relevance, but I just wish I had known because we could have better prevented, like gotten better condoms, so she didn't have to go through that. Didn't even have to tell me, I feel, as even if she implied that the things we were using was probably ineffective, I'd change them to prevent what was clearly unwanted at that stage. Anyways, I went over to take my things this morning and we're on better terms. She'll be leaving the house, as it's under my name, in a week's time for her parents' place too. I do forgive her, have asked her to seek support if need be, professionally that is, and she has agreed. Thank you for all of the help and support. I'm grieving both losses now, but I'm hopeful that one is for the better. God bless. Dang. That's a lot of stuff to figure out. That's a lot of stuff to find out after you break up with someone. I wonder why she hid the abortions from him. Not me literally Googling. Because I don't want to be insensitive about it. Like, I'm sure there are things. And sometimes I just, like, can't clock things in my brain. Obviously, it's her choice to, like, tell. And it's her choice 100% what to do, like, in that situation. And maybe she just didn't want, like, anyone else's outside opinions. It says, fear of partner's reactions. which obviously I don't know him, so maybe he could have gone violent or aggressive. I mean, from what I read, I don't think that would be the case, but then again, I'm not in their relationship, so maybe she was scared. You never know. Shame and guilt. She may feel embarrassed about the pregnancy or the decision to have an abortion, or even guilt over the considering the option. Relationship concerns, external pressures, stigma and social judgment, desire for a different future. She may have a different personal vision for the future that doesn't include a child at that time and wants to keep the decision private. Fear of legal or professional consequences, which I don't think is either the case. I just feel like I would have to tell my partner because I would want his support. Because I don't know how I would react in that situation. Like, I feel like I would be okay to like work through it by myself, but, and also like I don't really like, I completely see it as my decision and my choice, and I don't, which I know not everyone does, and a lot of people, there is like a stigma around it, so I know a lot of people could be like feel ashamed and want to keep it a secret from their partner. I just feel like I personally don't feel that like stigma. I feel like, I don't know. I guess I just feel safe with my partner, so, which I'm really grateful for, and I feel like he would just help me so much if I was going through that and I wasn't handling it well, because I feel like you can never really know like how you would handle it. Like I might be like fine and not even have much of a reaction, or I might be like super upset and sad, or even in the future maybe my mind would be like, it would get harder. I don't know. You never know how you're going to react in a situation. Someone said, not to shit on your memory of your brother, but isn't anybody else sus that the ex kept 2 pregnancies from OP and then got a tattoo of the brother on her? There are a million different ways to honor someone, but to have his face on her and then get violent when she was asked to cover or remove it, are you sure she didn't have a thing with him? And commenter 2 said, there's absolutely no value to OP for you to even suggest it. All you'll just have done is make OP question his dead brother, even if only for a moment. Some things don't need to be effing said. OP responded to that and said, hi, I appreciate this. I have considered that angle, and it has hurt a lot to even think about. I've gone over it again and again, though, and I think it isn't likely at all. This, as well as speaking to my parents about it, who think it's unlikely too. My brother was my best friend, and I know he wouldn't have hurt me in that way. And then someone said, I mean, it's still wild. She probably dropped like $300 to $500 on the tattoo in the first place and now has to wait 3 to 4 months to get it removed. The violence was kind of unsurprising as a reader. She's not being rational, and those kinds of people usually resort to violence in the end. Good luck. And then another person said, can we talk about OP's parents having to mediate and chaperone a situation where someone unrelated to them got a tattoo of their deceased son's face? Because that's crazy. That is crazy. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.